Okay, testing the recording equipment for something else, but as a test, let's do an unboxing of this. This is the Tales of Xillia 2 Ludger Kresnik Collector's Edition, which was released in Europe very recently. Having a look at the front of the box, we have artwork with all the main characters in it, including the two new main characters. And on the sides we have Ludger Kresnik in his regular and alternate form. And just for comparison's sake, here's the Tales of Xillia Mila Maxwell edition, which was released last year. You'll notice that the Ludger Kresnik edition is quite a ways bigger, well, in terms of height. Not entirely sure why, but we'll find out part of the unboxing, I guess. Okay, in the box. The first thing we have is another box with Tales of Xillia 2 on the top and a bag. So Tales of Xillia 2 bag, and underneath the bag we have a replica pocket watch. The pocket watch actually plays an important part in the game, but I'll let you discover that for yourselves. Tales of Xillia 2 is engraved on one end, and we have a bit of just cogs and artwork on the other. Inside we have a completely non-moving face, and on the other side we have a mirror, so it's not completely ornamental. Putting that aside, next up we have instruction manual, a rarity these days. Most things are taken over by the tutorial nowadays. And finally we get the Rollo steel case art book, which contains the sample soundtrack and the game itself. I have to admit, I'm not actually that big a fan of the Rollo art book, well, the steel case. I much prefer the Day 1 edition steel case, but unfortunately we don't get to choose, so Rollo it is. Next up we have the Tales of Xillia 2 art book, so a sample art book which comes with the collector's edition. Looking into it now, it's pretty much standard fare. Most of the stuff is art which you'll see within the game itself. So here are all the portrait arts for the skits, which you will read during the game. Most dynamic arts, mostly which you'll see in game, and just a few sketches here and there, with some alternate costume designs. Here's El Marta, one of the other new characters, and here's Jude, one of the returning characters, and Mila. Leia, yay! And Alvin, and Elise, and Tipo. Quite like Elise, because she was actually designed by Kosuke Fujishima, who's one of my favourite manga artists, still around, still active. He's really cool. And Radu, the guy who gives you your debt at the beginning of the game. And just some sketches, and look at some alternate costume designs, and also some DLC ones by the looks of it. I'm pretty sure these are all DLC. Okay. And then that's the Tales of Xillia 2 art book. Now looking at the main meat of the collector's edition, which is the figure, which will come out. Okay, so the figure itself comes in a pretty sturdy box with a nice window to allow you to see inside with the figure. So let's take him out and get a closer look. Okay, so here's the Ludger Kresnik figure. Pose is pretty standard and slightly more dynamic than just him standing there. Paint job is sufficient, nothing too outstanding aside from a problem with the skin tone. If you look carefully, there's a big contrast between the dark, shadowy parts and the lighter bits, which is quite off-putting. It's not so bad on the forearms, but if you can see, there's basically makes it look like there's a streak across Ludger's eyes, which is not exactly the best way to look at it. But let's compare Ludger to Mila from the Mila Maxwell edition here. So, yeah, Tales of Xillia art book. Definitely not as well made as the new one, but looks like there's a lot more detail going on in terms of how the characters were designed. So, stand a personal preference as to which one you think is better. Personally, I think this one is, but again, it's not as well produced. Now for the figure itself, which is even harder to get out. Okay, so box-wise, it's very similar, just different colour, but you still get the window for to get the figure out. Also for packaging. And so here are the two side by side. Looking at it, it does seem that they're made by the same manufacturers. Yep, they're both made by Presto. So we're looking at price figure quality here. Nothing too outstanding, but you know, you can display them without being too embarrassed by their quality. I have to say though, I definitely prefer the Mila figure. It just looks a little bit better made, especially since it doesn't have the same problem with the skin tones. But that's a personal preference of mine. That's about it then. This concludes the unboxing of the Ludger Kresnik collector's edition of Tales of Xillia 2. Hope you enjoyed it.